time.
So what
right?
is the biggest crowd you've ever played before?
60,000 people. And it was like, so get this lineup. I used to play with Crash Test Dummies for tour for about 5 years, I guess. And we opened for Alanis Morrisette and then Bryan Adams.
Kind of.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Hey. Whoa.
And now, the continuation of our interview with Juno Award winner Murray Pulver of the Crash Test Dummies.
You're a producer, but not an engineer.
Yeah, I mean, I do engineer some things. It's quite a different job.
I'm curious where that kind of starts and stops.
Right.
Yeah.
Good question.
Well, so I would feel like as a producer, my job is to be the liaison between the artist and how do we get the music out to be what they want it to be, their vision, and how do we get there. And an engineer, like, I am totally focused on a project. I'm focused on the music from moment one, where we work on the songs, like the structure of it with the artist. I get to know the artist well, so I can interpret for an engineer, because an engineer is often dealing with like technical issues and things that just blow the whole session for me. Like, if I have technical difficulties, my mind is off the music.
Yes.
Right.
So I have to have engineers that I fully trust. They can interpret what I'm hearing, what the artist is wanting, and they can deal with some of the technical issues.
Like, sort of like isolate you from technical bullshit.
Yeah, I don't want to know anything.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I show up at the studio with an artist, I'm in music mode, and we're talking about the song and what we're gonna do, what some of our vision is, and the engineer just has to sort of interpret what I'm talking about.
Right.
And we talk. Of course, I have close communication with an engineer, and we talk about sounds and what we're kind of looking for, what I'm looking for. He has to interpret that and pick the correct microphones. I might make suggestions or whatever, but it's a job that for me I think would take twice as long to produce something if I was having to do both.
Right.
Because it's really it's a two-man job.
Different part of the brain too.
Yeah, it's a different part of the
But
brain.
in terms of engineering, there's also there's there's the patch bay where stuff goes and there's a broken cable or something.
Yeah.
There's the difference between that kind of the actual functionality of stuff. And then, but then there's oh, it would be really cool if there was an old-timey kind of radio voice on that vocal track right now, right?
Yeah.
That kind of more, that stuff.
Yeah. So I do part of that stuff, and there's a part that I engineer. So if we're doing what I'd call bed tracks, sort of the drums, bass, guitars, those kinds of things on a day, where we have a band, where we're tracking live and stuff, then there comes the next few days after that where we're working on just vocals and stuff, and I'll engineer all that stuff. I'll record all the acoustic guitars, or if we have horns or whatever, I can engineer all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like doing it when it's those full days of the band recording, because to me my ears have to be just, my focus has to be just on the music. And
It's
not,
overheated.
It's overheated.
Is that what it is?
We're too hot.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe we should open that.
frickin' hot in here.
It got
Is that what it is?
it got too
Yeah,
close to Jill
it's
and it
too hot.
overheated.
It's too hot in here.
I don't even have the space heater on.
Yeah.
We should open up that.
Shocking. Okay,
We should
will it
open
help
up the
if
door.
I take my coat off?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so an example of where an engineer, it was so useful for me to have an engineer, was on the new Bros Landreth record. Basically, they threw a song. We were kind of done recording, and one guy goes, I really want to record this song, and we hadn't really given it much thought, and it was real sort of campy 3-chord acoustic guitar song, and I was it's just not. I think the song deserves. It has this maritimey thing, but I don't want. That's not who they are. The lyrics are great and stuff, but I was like, okay, well, I had to sort of quickly think on the feet, basically, and it was like, well, what if we had this organ player who plays with Bonnie Raitt? He's amazing.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and he's just he's from Winnipeg originally.
Wow, cool.
Of course. Glenn Pacha is his name.
Yeah.
And so I said, Glenn, what if you play organ, and you just lay this chords in this kind of real sort of drony maritime thing, and then drums. I'm talking to the engineer whose name's Ian Phillips, who's our live sound guy, and we give him this opportunity to be the engineer on the record because he's a great live sound guy. I said, I hear the drums like just like super washy and just like distant. I want like 2 kick drums, like put a kick drum in front of the kick drum and put mics way in the distance, just really different. Like think outside the box. And Joey, just sing and be yourself and play guitar and it'll be magic. And Dave, just
imagine yourself in Labrador.
Yeah, but they were like, so they got excited, and Ian, the engineer, got excited about setting this thing up. And he was about creating. So I created a scenario, then he had to capture that scenario, right? So this was crazy because we got the drums sounding this certain way. It was like everybody's kind of like pumped. Okay, what the hell are we doing now? I said, just start with the organ and we'll see where it goes.
Right.
And Joey's reading the lyrics. He didn't write the song. He's like just reading it. And we captured it first take. And everybody was like goosebumps listening back. Like,
Wow.
and it might not be everybody's favorite song, but it was a moment for those guys.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Nice.
so it was kind of one of those moments where it's like, okay, if I can create a scenario and the engineer knows how to capture that, it'll be, we have an opportunity for magic.
So Joey's gonna get some more gigs then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and that engineer Ian is just amazing.
Ian is a guy.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ian.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I meant Ian.
You know where he's from? Portage la Prairie.
Portage La Prairie.
yeah.
8th
Of
Street,
course.
represent my street.
Unbelievable. There's something in the water, guys.
Some in the water. There.
Something in the water.
Now, between being a producer, musician, and writer, when it's all going good, which do you enjoy the most?
Oh,
On the good moments.
you know, I love every part of it, and it's like I could play a gig and there might be 15 people there, but if everybody's connecting on stage and you're having an amazing time, that can be one of the greatest moments. I think some of my greatest musical moments have been at this place called the Bella Vista Pizzeria.
Oh man.
And it was like just such like had zero atmosphere, but so much atmosphere.
Yeah.
the lights were bright, like the pizza's amazing, it smelled great.
Yeah.
And we had just magical moments. And that's just something you can't replace when it's like the synergy between the people that are on stage.
Right.
You're just having the time of your life. And then that comes across. And there might have been 15 people there for some of my best moments.
Right.
But that's that. And then you just thrive in different spots. And like sometimes the studio can also be a kind of a boring place and not the greatest. And sometimes it's a job, but a moment like I just described, with the bros, that was magical.
Right.
And so you live for those little moments, like
Yeah.
not every job, nobody has a dream job. Like
Reality is always.
reality is
yeah.
like, I get to do music every day, but it's not like always the shit.
Right.
Well,
I used to make video games. It sucked a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some people would think, fuck yeah.
Whoa, are you kidding me? You get to make video games? I'm like,
exactly.
every day.
It's
Yeah.
but the one thing I remember about anytime I've been in the studio is that it's a lot of admin time. There's just a lot of downtime waiting for something to get done, and
Hurry
a
up and
lot
wait.
of
Hurry up and
technical
wait.
stuff. Just
Yeah.
so much technical time.
So, what
right?
is the biggest crowd you've ever played before?
It was outside Prague. I was about 25 years old. It was 60,000 people. And it was like, so get this lineup. I used to play with Crash Test Dummies for about 5 years, I guess. And we opened for Alanis Morrisette and then Bryan Adams.
Wow, what a Canadian, what a beautiful Canadian lineup.
lineup. Yeah.
That day was amazing because we'd toured with Alanis. We'd opened a Canadian tour with Alanis, so we got to know that band quite well. And the night before, like they showed up in Prague, and we're just about to get on stage, and they go, "Guys, all our shit was stolen. Our personal shit, like all their guitars and stuff, their whole semi was stolen in Italy." And so they showed up in Prague with nothing.
Wow.
So because they knew us, they were like, can we borrow your guitars and like your amps and pedals and all this shit for their show in front of 60,000 people.
What a harsh way to play a show.
But they're so good. They were all so good. The players were amazing. They pulled it off. And then Bryan played his show as a 3-piece, and he was playing bass, and everything was white on stage on this little tour. So white,
that was the white bass story.
Yes.
We know the guy that he won. That was
redid
Elvis's
the
bassist.
Yeah.
And the guy wanted to have it redone in white, and he's going, you can't refinish Elvis's bassist.
What the hell?
Bass. There was some a charity event or something he was doing that they were all going to do white.
No, it was the that super group he was playing in.
With
they did
McCartney
a video, and everybody's stringed instruments were all white.
Oh, wow.
That's what it was. And so, he had
the White Album too.
Yeah, there you go.
He had Elvis's bass, and the guy was like, I really don't want to do this.
Elvis and the bass.
Yeah.
We all know what that is.
So Bryan, played the show. It was all white lights, white amps, white drums, white guitars, white clothing, and it was a surreal moment because it was like I don't think I've ever felt more Canadian because there you were in Prague, and 60,000 people are singing every word to songs that we grew up on. You know, Summer of '69, and
they don't even speak English.
All this shit, and it was like, wow. And it was so cool. Like it was an all Canadian lineup, not intentionally. It just was, and it was like, man, I've never felt more proud to be Canadian.
Yeah.
So after we do a show in town, we come to the Lizard Lounge and just sort of decompress. How do you decompress after a show like that?
Yeah, good question.
You know what? I just hung backstage and met Bryan Adams, and I was like, this is the show. I'm like, I'm 24 years old.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is happening?
Live the moment.
Did you meet Keith Scott too?
No, but
too bad. One of my favorite guitar players.
I recently had an email with Keith Scott.
No way.
So that's his guitar player, right?
Yes.
So
Lifelong.
I actually have met him many times.
Oh, no way.
Because our kids went to preschool together.
Amazing.
So we'd be standing there and waiting for the kids to come out, and he's like,
Such a sweetheart.
hey.
His,
that's all.
He's such a killer guitar
Nothing
player.
else.
He was just replaced for a bit of on the tour. Do you know why?
Must be health. Gotta be
health. He's
Gotta
fine
be.
again.
Okay, good.
But guess who replaced him? Luke Doucette. Winnipeg
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, Luke
Awesome.
Doucette from Veal,
Yep.
Vancouver band way back, and
Nice.
plays with Sarah McLachlan and White
Yeah.
Horse.
Yeah.
And he
Monster.
got the call. He's got 3 days to learn the whole show,
Oh,
the whole Bryan
that's
Adams
a
show.
real pro,
Well,
right?
And some of those
that's
and
a
that's also
real pro, man.
they're not shreddy solos, but they're gorgeous and they're melodic, and you got to get them.
You got to know the note
gotta
by
get
note.
them
Yeah.
right.
Actually, he was very brave, and he posted people tag him and posted when he kind of blew one.
Yeah, sure.
And
You're
Luke,
gonna blow one.
pretty brave. Like it was posted, so he's like, I know, you've played this solo a million times, you know it inside and out. But he was kind of like, so I blew it. I had 3 days to learn this shit.
Yeah.
but it's pretty. He of course nailed
It was still musical.
Yeah.
It
Pretty
was still
killer.
beautiful. I'll bet.
Oh,
it
Luke
was
is
still
amazing. Yeah,
It was still great. It's
He's
just like it
such
wasn't
an amazing
exactly
player.
the same solo that Keith
That
Scott
is a
played.
very tall order.
Oh,
like
yeah, that's great.
humongous.
Huge. Yeah, like what are you playing?
Big audiences.
Over 2 hours plus of music that you
Yeah.
know, but you don't know.
But you don't.
You haven't really
Well,
learned.
no, I
Yeah.
mean, it's,
You haven't
it's,
learned
it's
those
the-
arrangements, really.
Anytime we pick a song, it's like you think you know the song, and then you get into the rehearsal room, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, okay, I totally don't know this song."
Those aren't the words at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's more like, what are the words? I didn't know they were
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah,
Ooh, I don't know if I can sing this.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, what's the song about?
Yeah. Yeah.
But so it pretty crazy. But Keith Scott is a hero, I think, to
Yeah.
many.
To me.
it was Eddie Van Halen's favorite guitar player.
Yeah, that's right. Eddie Van Halen
really?
has only ever said nice things about a couple of
Angus
guitar
Young
players.
and Keith Scott.
You know who else? He liked Tony Iommi, I think, but more as a guy. I think he liked.
Right.
I think he thought he was a gentleman and a great
Yeah,
guy.
He loved Keith Scott,
but he
and,
loved Keith Scott. Yeah,
and Angus Young.
Angus Young.
So-
That Panama
so-
was inspired by them opening for AC/DC, and they said we need to make a song that's like an AC/DC stadium song.
Really?
And that's what Panama
Really?
came from. And as you can
Interesting.
see, they failed miserably in sounding like AC/DC.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't sound anything like
could David
AC/DC.
But they
Roth
succeeded
ever do
in
that?
getting a great stadium
They get a
song.
hell of a song, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So speaking of, I'm playing bartender here at the same time.
you're doing it all.
Speaking of, epic guitar players, who's guitar players you like just love? You love their tone, you love their feel, you love their
I mean,
style.
we just sort of talked about two of them. Honestly, I've never been like I grew up in the 80s, so I loved 80s metal guys. you know,
Right.
But
course.
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with Eddie Van Halen being possibly the most innovative and greatest guitar player of that era, if not many other eras. And he had a huge influence
He
on
did new shit that nobody ever did.
yeah, and I loved his rhythm playing and his riffs, like almost even more than the solos.
The
like,
groove.
the groove, and the tone.
Him and
It was-
Alex.
It's just, it was unbelievable. You go through different phases, and as I was learning, more sophisticated things on guitar, I started to love, jazz players and stuff. I like Pat Metheny and just anybody that I felt like was really innovative and sort of unique and almost didn't sound like anybody else. That always kind of blew my mind. It's like they have a total voice and you can pick them out in an instant.
That's kind of my litmus test on guitar players. Like if I know who you are within like 3 notes.
That's my Mark
you're
Knopfler.
Yeah,
Immediately,
Mark Knopfler,
I just
right.
like, I'm like,
Angus.
yeah, got it nailed.
Oh yeah. I loved Steve Lukather as a, like just
Stevie Ray.
Stevie Ray
Yeah.
Vaughan. When I
Oh,
used
yeah.
to, there
So
was a time where
fantastic.
I used to listen to so much Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Same.
And then now I listen to John Mayer's station
interesting.
on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
It's called Life with John Mayer, and he
Yeah.
tells cool stories about every song, and it's really
Yeah.
fun because he dives into things that most people wouldn't think of, and he plays some of his favorite players and all this, and he's been playing a bunch of Stevie Ray Vaughan lately, and,
Right.
and it's like, damn, nobody sounds like that. It's just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
He
So-
attacked the guitar. Like he was mad at the guitar.
yeah, and like just the thick strings and just the sound is like nobody can do that now.
Right.
And there's a lot of pretenders, of course, to be like that, but there's nobody that sounded like
There's
that.
a
and had that
video-
conviction,
There's a video of him out there of on YouTube of Stevie playing at the Horseshoe Bar and Grill there in Toronto.
Yeah.
And he
It's
is
legendary.
it's legendary. He's on fire. And it's one of those rare moments where you're listening to a musician, you're watching a musician, and you feel like he can't make a mistake.
No.
There's no way he
Yeah.
can make a mistake, and there's
And
you
what
don't
is a
get that very
mistake?
often.
You kind of go,
because this dude right now is mastering. He's
Yeah.
a master of what he's doing.
Yeah.
So anything that he plays is perfect.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just because he might play a note that's off color, but he delivers it with such conviction
He'll just
that you're
bang
like,
into it.
woo, that's the, he made
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You live the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what music's about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you hear those true greats, you're like, you hear Van Halen on the radio these days, and it's like, shit. If you don't turn that up, something's
Yeah.
wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the hockey game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to Van
Many
Halen all
heroes,
the
but
time.
and some people that just people wouldn't hear of, and even local heroes too. There's think are just really great.
Yeah.
Right.
I know there's
Yeah.
always some cat, around town, and nobody really knows about them, but you just go, oh man, this
Yeah.
guy's great.
I don't know what the
or-
hell's going
or
on.
this
This
girl
guy's
is
good,
just
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
ripping,
Who
and
was your 14, 15, 16-year-old epic hero band when you were
Well, what got me
that
into
age?
music, truthfully, was Cheap Trick live at Blue Hill.
Yeah.
Yes,
man.
and
Yeah.
I saw that, and I went out for Halloween as Rick Nielsen. We talked about- all my friends, I went to school, and they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick."
You'll know soon enough.
Yeah. One day.
We wore the nerdy.
Yeah. The nerdy.
sweater and-
I'm going as a
and
nerdy
hat,
guitar
like,
player.
And always the checkers. He loved the checkers. He always had the
Checkers,
checkers. Yeah.
But
Perfect.
I saw that, and it blew my mind. It made me go into music. Like I was just
Wow.
like,
Nice.
I mean, there was, 15,000 screaming Japanese fans at that show, and it was just like they come out there, "Hello there, ladies and gentlemen," and it's like,
nice.
okay, that's
Yeah.
what I would need to do.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to do that.
Yeah. Now you also did a stint down in Nashville.
I did, yeah. Josephine and
What?
I, we moved with our kids down to Nashville for 3 years.
How old were the kids when you moved down there?
They were 5, 6, and 3. 6 and 3.
Okay, so
and 3.
amenable to a move because they hadn't really kind of like
They hadn't established
dug
all their
into their
friendships
friends
all
and
that,
stuff. Yeah.
And I actually think they're pretty like flexible anyway. They seem to be. Well, they're both on the move all the time these days still. So maybe that was the catalyst for that. But we lived down there for 3 years. I was playing in the country band Doc Walker, and I was like a producer who produced our project was from down there, and he had lots of great stuff that he'd worked on, and he was really encouraging to me to go. And I should never have told Joey, because then she made us move down there.
all her fault.
I was like, he said,
Our guest camera
he said you
person.
got something unique and you do well down there. And I was like, I told her that, and she was like, okay, we're doing it.
I guess we're going to
and I'm
Nashville.
like, shit, we can't do that. And we did. I'm thankful for it. It was
What a place Nashville is.
you came down.
I did a couple times.
Yeah. And
I think you told a story about sitting in on a session, and I think that's where it was, and you were just so blown away that it was like they'd go through the song and they'd
No,
be
that
like,
was in Winnipeg.
"Oh, was
actually.
that in Winnipeg?
That was Eagles Bank. That was
okay.
and Eagles Bank was going to be playing with the with like the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra or something like that, or like the Philharmonic or something
that's
like that.
right. Yeah.
And you were like, does anybody have a
It's really-
problem at all?
it's-
And you're like, yeah, bar 54. I got a little. And it's like, okay,
it's
let's take it from bar
ridiculous.
52. Boom.
Yeah, that was
Things
really good.
move quick.
That's
yeah.
when that's when I saw like the difference between like amateur pro,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, amateur pro and then
Pro.
pro, Mozart pro.
Things-
kinda.
yeah, those things
Yeah.
all-
Nashville Pro.
Yeah.
Nashville's sick though. Like you just. It's the middle of the day and you just walk into these little honky tonks like on their like music strip there, and like there's these face melting people up on stage like playing to an empty house practically, but they're just so good,
Yeah,
and
it's
you're
true,
like
yeah.
you're like, it's
Wow.
It is an amazing.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad in many ways that we did it. And I feel like it was going to school, like a second, like a master's degree in some ways.
Right.
Well, you got to do a session with Tom Buka.
Tom Bukovac. Yeah.
Bukovac.
Oh yeah. Like I got to play with
Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry. Yeah.
Uncle
there's-
Larry.
The level of musicianship is ridiculous.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you're playing songs that you're like the people that are playing this are way above these songs. But
Right.
there's a reason they get it done so quickly, is because they are so good, and they play for the song. They know what.
So
the
what do you
song
mean when
needs.
they're way above the songs? The songs are more simple for
Simple?
their
These people
level.
can play
Are like,
anything, and
yeah.
they can play anything, but
Yeah.
they realize what their job is. Like it's like roofing. I could give you the best roof there is, but that's not what it requires. It's like
right.
what you
but
need is these shingles, and
At the
Yeah.
same time though, you're looking to try to like write a hook too, right?
yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's a very interesting.
It's all about the hook.
It is all about the
all
hook.
about the
Because
hook.
then you got a writing credit.
Yeah. It is all about the hook, and it's about playing what the song needs, and that's there's an art to that, and I feel like that's one thing that was. I felt like I can't keep up with somebody like Tom Bukovac. Like that's incredible guitar playing, but I feel like you kind of figure out what your strength is and where your lane is, and I was good at sort of coming up with a hook of the song, or like
Right.
something to be memorable, and so I started to get jobs that would. It's all word of mouth there, and you do a good job one day, and they'll hire you for the
Right.
next day, and
Right.
it's like just kind of
Yeah.
snowballs.
Yeah.
Do a bad job and you're blacklisted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
true.
get writing credit for a hook?
If it's really a huge part of the song, yeah.
George Harrison's rolling over in his grave right now.
yeah.
Betcha.
Oh
His
man.
pauper's grave.
There's a Nashville guitar player named Brent Mason who's played amazing hooks on, like, say there's a song called Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson, and it goes and it's like everybody can sing it because
It's
it's
a
the thing that
classic.
starts the song.
Yeah.
You hear two notes of that and you're like, I know what song this is.
Yeah.
Right.
And he'd get a writing
Yeah.
credit.
You
for it.
bet you
Yeah.
get a writing credit.
Mhm.
That's
Nice.
Yeah, because
Appreciate
it.
if it weren't for that, I mean, the song it would have still done okay, probably.
Right.
But as soon as people hear that, like,
Right.
it's like dun dun dun.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, I know what song we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
I got a good one. I got a good story for Murray to recount to us. I've always liked this one. Tell us about the time that you briefly met Klaus Meine.
Klaus Meine,
Who?
Scorpions.
Who's
Klaus Meine
from
is the singer of the Scorpions.
Yeah.
I was with Crash Test Dummies and we were playing a festival in Denmark.
For some reason, I thought it was you and Brad Roberts.
Crash Test Dummies, it was Brad and I walking backstage.
Oh, okay.
So the two of us just going to get some lunch, and it was like 35 degrees out, and we go to this backstage area, and it's where catering is, and it's like
This is in Germany.
it was in Denmark,
Denmark.
and we're on the bill with Mike and the Mechanics and the Scorpions.
Mike and the Mechanics.
Yeah, I know,
Oh,
so
I
cool.
love it.
That's pretty cool,
And,
eh?
and Denmark puts festivals together. It does. There was a kids band, and then Mike and the Mechanics, and then
Mike and the
Gwar,
Mechanics
then-
weren't
Everybody
the kids
must
band?
have fun today.
Yeah, we would just have music, and it would be great.
Yeah.
You know?
We're naughty skinheads.
Yeah. Everybody, kids, look out. You won't like this. But it's pretty funny. Like, so I go backstage, and I was a huge Scorpions fan as a kid.
Who wasn't?
Yeah. And
Me.
Yeah. No.
Well, we were.
Rock you like a hurricane.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. I know it.
There's
Yeah,
no
fair enough.
like you.
Big city.
Big city nights.
Yeah, actually, I'd probably be
up on
singing
that.
along to all of them. Yeah.
I
The
love
metal
that.
side of the bar.
I love it.
Hair band.
I love the Scorpions.
We might not have hair now, but we did.
In the day.
When we're finished recording, I'm putting on
Hey,
Scorpions,
wait,
guys.
how is it that the hair
Metal guys.
band side of the bar?
They used it all up
it's-
in their youth.
I think it's the hairspray.
Yeah, it was too heavy.
I think it was the hairspray.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
I saved
Yeah,
mine.
the hairspray.
it puts extra pressure on your scalp.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dyed my hair all the time.
back to the Klaus Meine story.
Anyway, Klaus. So we go backstage and we open the gates and then right there is Rudolf Schenker.
Yeah.
Rudolf Schenker and Klaus Meine, who's I was just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like childhood heroes are sitting there in full leather and like in 35 degrees, just sitting super
Don't care.
upright, so German, just waiting for their food to be served. And then they see Brad, like the singer of the Dummies, and I'm just like speechless. I'm like, whoa. And Brad approaches, like we're getting closer, and Klaus, the singer from the Scorpions, gets up and goes, Brad Roberts, I want to meet you. He goes, God shuffled his feet. It's one of my desert island records. And I'm just like, this is Klaus Meine. Brad
Crazy.
doesn't even know. He's like,
Really?
yeah, I don't think he really realized. And I'm just like shitting bricks because I'm like, this is
Like Brad, you just got one of like the best compliments you're ever.
yeah,
gonna
I'm like, are you serious? Anyway, it was so surreal because I was just such a
Wow.
big fan.
Nice.
And I was, I was under 24 or something at the time.
Yeah.
What a
It was
compliment too.
Yeah,
It's
like
crazy.
But it is a pretty great
Desert
record.
Island album.
Yeah, and so
wow,
he's like,
yeah.
the lyrics and everything about it, the record, I love it.
Doesn't he say like I listen to it all the time?
Yeah, he listens to it all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
And so that was a pretty mind bending kind of moment. It was just like,
Nice.
whoa. I didn't have anything to do with that record, but I was still part of
You're playing it.
Yeah,
You're
I was
playing it, yeah.
and I was present there when he was saying, and I was just like, "This is amazing!" Like those are little childhood things you'd never think would ever happen.
Yeah.
Nice.
They
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
every once in a while.
Wow. Wow.
Awesome.
So many good
well,
stories.
Well, if Brad Roberts were to call you tomorrow and say, Murray, let's get back on the road.
Sorry, Brad.
you'd say, but I'll listen to you on Day
joining
Drinking
Shag
with
the
Shag.
Band.
Go down there and do a
I got
podcast.
some meatloaf to play with you guys.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that was an amazing part of my career. I feel and like it was everything I sort of had set goals to do, and still you set goals, but you don't think those things will ever happen.
Yeah.
But you get a call from somebody that's sold 10 million records, and you're like, they want asking you to audition, and you're like, holy shit.
Better
And-
change the strings to
and it, I realized a lot of it was like where I was from, the things I had done leading up to that. It was a lot of hard work, being at the right place at the right time, and being somewhat ready for it when when it comes, and so
Well, it seems like you've got a little bit of that kind of like Canadian explorer kind of guy in you.
Yeah.
The sort of like you didn't have your own studio, and there was that joy of the experience of being in different studios that have different environments, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm gonna play in this band, and then I'm gonna move, the wife and kids down to Nashville.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back, and now I'm going to be a producer engineer, and I'm
Yeah,
going
that's
to
what
check
I'm gonna
out different studios, right? It's like,
Yeah, you have to be
there's something
somewhat
new to
Like
see all the
lily
time.
pad to lily pad to lily pad. Yeah.
Why not, right?
you have to be a bit fearless in this industry, and you have to be a bit crazy, just like my dad, I guess, bringing it back to that. Like you have to be.
You got to buy a PA and a van.
Yeah. I mean, we're all in
And a
this,
drum kit.
I mean, we're all a little bit crazy, but musicians maybe have an extra,
Right.
little bit of that, and I feel like you have to be a bit fearless. You don't really get anywhere if you
And
aren't a bit
shameless.
shameless, fearless. You gotta, Here we are.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming out and drinking with us. This has been Day Drinking with Shag. Thank you.
Great, happy.
Right.
Thank you to
The
Jerry,
pulverizing
our awesome
Murray
filmographer.
Pulver.
Day drinking with Shag the Band.